Good evening, I'm Golda Lee Bruce and you're watching the 7 p.m. news here on CNC3.
Good evening, I'm Roger Sands with sports.
Good evening, I'm Skoni Mohammed with your weather report. Let's tell you about our top stories tonight.
The pressure came from a few students, but also political opponents also.
Political pressure. The University of the West Indies forces the Guild of Students to cancel its post-budget discussion featuring the opposition leader. Father Clyde Harvey warns about deaths at the hands of police officers as he speaks at the opening of the Law 2. The Chief Justice calls for set budgetary allocation for the judiciary. And the national anthem is in the spotlight tonight as we continue our series on patriotism ahead of Republic Day.
And in sport, the Windies crushed Bangladesh by 296 runs in the second test.
The Guild of Students at the University of the West Indies has buckled under political and administrative pressure to cancel a post-budget discussion it had planned. This all because the main speaker was to be opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley. Reporter Urvashi Tiwari Rupnarayan spoke with the Guild president, who admits he was forced into calling off the meeting, which was being done in collaboration with the Heliconia Foundation. We have more in this report.
The UE Students' Guild has become the center of yet another political controversy. It has come under fire for collaborating with the Heliconia Foundation, a known affiliate of the PNM, to host a post-budget forum at its Teaching and Learning Center. At an emergency meeting on Sunday night, the Guild voted to postpone the event.
When we get reviews from the students and even our administration and our own council, we realize that the panel do not reflect a panel that is of the wider society in terms of reflecting different political views that students may face.
A noble reason, but the vice president of the Heliconia Foundation has a suspicion.
I really feel for them. I know a certain degree of pressure was put on them.
Well, we asked Mr. Peters if he was forced into making the decision. Do you feel that you've buckled under pressure?
Well, to an extent, yes, I can say that.
He says the event has been blown out of proportion.
The pressure came from a few students, but also political opponents also.
Other students we spoke with tell of a political suasion with administrators who in turn clamped down on the Guild. But why?
We get pressure to meet the panel unbiased and why we haven't written to other political parties to be a part of it.
But Mr. Peters has no regrets.
Because at the end of the day, the Guild is an apolitical guild and we support all political views from our 19,000 students.
He tells us the intention of the Guild was to in fact have 3 fora where other political entities would be allowed to speak. But word on the ground is that the turnout on Wednesday's event was expected to be overwhelming.
So they believe that we will have an impact because a lot of students are asking why we postpone the event. Is it because national elections is next year and we are being pressured because different political parties feel that the voter turnout will swing. But the reality is, we the believe in bringing national issues to the forefront.
This St. Augustine campus bears the signature of the West Indies. It has even been described as a country's intellectual capital. But today, many are questioning whether political interference has tarnished its reputation. Well, the Heliconia Foundation feels robbed.
I think freedom of speech and our democracy has been done an injustice.
Mr. Coppin says the intention was to have the opposition leader converse with students to hear their views on issues like gates and first-time ownership.
All political parties must be given a platform at universities because universities are supposed to be catalysts for progress and development of our democracy.
We received emails from students who expressed dismay at the turn of events. Stacy asks, why am I being denied freedom of speech to ask questions of the opposition who themselves hope to hold office in 2015? Meanwhile, others we spoke with promised to express their dismay on Election Day 2015. Urvashi Tiwari Rupnarayan, CNC3, St. Augustine.
And several attempts to reach the principal of the university, Mr. Clement Sankat, to comment on this issue today were unsuccessful. Well, meanwhile, the Heliconia Foundation has issued a statement saying it is disappointed at the postponement of the event and describes it as a blow for the maturing of our democracy. The foundation says that despite attempts by some to reduce the event to simply another political meeting, the foundation remains resolute that the event was meant to promote greater youth participation in decision-making and believes that Dr. Rowley and those vying to become Prime Minister of this country must be given a platform to communicate their vision to the population and to face challenging questions on it. The organization also believes the postponement raises questions about the role of the university in advancing modern West Indian life and calls on the students to engage in honest introspection. The foundation says it believes the debate over the issue about the appropriateness of Dr. Rowley's visit to the campus may have some positive effects as it forces the country to reconsider the true meanings of freedom of speech and the right of freedom of association. Meanwhile, the Congress of the People is commending the UWI St. Augustine Guild of Students on its decision to postpone the post-budget forum. In a release, the Youth Congress says the event has been a contentious issue for the student body of UWI and for the public at large. The Youth Congress goes on to state the UWI Guild of Students acts on behalf of some 18,000 young people with different affiliations and interests, and it therefore applauds the members of the UWI Guild of Students who made the decision to postpone and hopefully restructure any future forum of this nature. It's time now for our Your Vote question, and it's based on the story that Urvashi brought to you this evening. The question is this: do you agree with the decision of the UWI Students Guild to cancel the post-budget forum with opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley? Text your response to the number 2623. To vote yes, text Y, and to vote no, text N. We'll tell you how you voted at the end of our newscast. I almost told you how to vote there. And we also want to remind you, our viewers, how to share your views with us via social media. Interact with us on Facebook using the handle @CNC3 Television, on Twitter using @CNC3TV, and on Instagram using the hashtag CNC3 News. We're looking forward to hearing from you. On to some other news now.